Welcome to Tackle Fanatics TV.
Nice shoulders on it.
Go on, boy! Hey! Happy days. Just stood around, as I say, just having a cup of tea. Literally a burst of 3 bleeps and the indicator was wedged in the blank, literally ready to pull out as I got to it. Encouragement from Steve, go on Bailey, go on! Picked into it and straight away you're just picking up the line and pulled into the fish and just feel the weight, and it cut to the left of the swim. Obviously I dumped the lead, come up in the water, and just a matter of, took some line off me, gained some, took some line, it just cut right round and just basically played it on the surface, just wallowing, and didn't give me too much drama really. So from the reel we're fishing the tapered subline, the 0.33, which is 12-pound breaking strain, down to the 40-pound tapered. I've cut that down to 2 rod lengths because obviously when you cast you want to get as much of it off as quick as possible without it rattling through the rings. 12 inches of dark matter tube in the green with a hybrid lead clip to match as set up. 4.5 ounce tournament casting lead just for aiding with the casting because I'm not the greatest casting distance, but also aids hooking as well. And then 8 inches of dark matter braid in 20 pounds, simple 8-turn knotless knot onto a crank 4, barbless of course, and a 18mm banoffee wafter, which they love in here. And then what I'm doing is, in the bait, I'm putting in some little 1mm lead wire, just poking it in, and I'm just balancing it, and what I'm doing is trimming it until it just literally rocks down, and the hook is just almost hot. It's not flat, but it's just got a bit of balance, because over time when they get flush with water and the pressures in this deeper water, they will lay flat over time, so it's just giving it a bit of life as they're drowned overnight more than anything. So in terms, the theory is that it will be cocked as if you'd have it before casting out as it laying flat on the bottom. Well, it's a theory anyway, so it was nailed, wasn't it? So yeah.
Same spot as before, third bite, back caught by 5 this morning. Same scenario as before, a couple of bleeps locked up, rod wrapped round, coming quite smooth, and yeah, in the net, no aggro this time. To have had 3 bites, yeah, I'm well happy, well happy. Be nice for the other 2 rods to go, to be honest, but 1 rod's doing the biz, that'll do. When it went, and then all of a sudden it was whang! I thought it's not attached.
Get in! Oh. Yes! Come on!
Get in. Get in. Oh! £45 8 common, known as the koi. Very nice fish. Come from a spot that I'd persevered with all week. It was a superb spot. Real loud donk every time it went down in 18 feet. Marginal, so I could get there with the tigers and the boilies and just ping it out perfectly. I'm quite surprised it'd not gone already. I'd had a couple of runs on it, but they'd been tench. So I persevered, and it was always going to stay on there for the whole of the week. Basically just stick to my spots, put the bait in consistently, and hopefully the fish will come along and have one of them. Oh, that's right, yeah. When Dovey had that first fish, I think it was about £48 early in the week. We thought he was going to be off to a flyer, but his week just went down drastically after that. You know, no fish, and then we got him on the poker table, and we absolutely mullered him on the poker table. I mean, I fleeced him a few times, Scotty fleeced him a few times. Tom Wager didn't play poker before the start of the week. We taught him a few tricks. Next minute, he's rinsing Dovey's chips. You know, he's not had a good week all round, the boy. You know, I mean, he probably needs a bit of therapy after this.
Well, what Carl said about the poker just isn't true at all. I'm £20 up on Scott. Carl can't even play poker. He thinks he can because he thinks he do everything. He's a stupid salesman. And Tom Wager's got lucky twice. So you do the math. They haven't won a poker at all. The fishing, he's ended well, but he should have caught about 10 this week. But he's actually only caught one at the end of the week. I should have caught nothing but nicked one at the beginning of the week.
I had the fish on me again yesterday, only for a little while in the day. They were sort of not on me, sort of back off my spot about 50 yards, and I kept seeing some fish to the left, which I knew was on a weedy area. So I'd done me old faithful and put a chod out there, just 3 spawns of tigers, and about 6 o'clock this morning dropped back on that rod, and 27 common, yeah. So happy days. I'm not using a boilie on the hook. I'm using, which sounds a bit ridiculous, 4 tiger nuts and 2 pieces of cork in an actual ring. The ring of love, we call them. But yeah, it was on that. That's what I used back home. So went back to what I'm used to using and caught. So that's going back out. Big question is, did I put chods on any other rods? Is in my mind now. I'm not sure. I've just thought it's something. Everyone's doing the same thing. Try something different, and it's worked for me. So over the moon.
The session for me has been a real disappointment, to be perfectly honest. To get my second choice of swim, and the swim be absolutely black with carp for the first few days of the week, and not make the most of that is a real gutter from my point of view. I'm very hard on myself when things aren't going right. I feel that I should always make the most of every situation, and I definitely haven't here. And the thing that worked against me at the start, I think, was I was baiting up with quite a few tiger nuts. They were quite small tiger nuts, and I was fishing 2 giant ones over the top. The first night I can't explain why I didn't catch. I had quite small tiger nuts on that night, and then I swapped over to giant ones, had a bite the following morning and then lost it, but then had loads of fish over me for the next couple of days and never converted anything. I'm convinced that they were either avoiding it at the last minute, because the water here is very, very clear, and certainly when they're very close to the rig, I'm sure they can see everything. And I was fishing it on my favourite D rig with a size 2 curved shank hook made barbless, 2 giant tigers drilled out with a big bit of cork in between, so that the hook lays flat and the tigers just hover above. And I think the fact that the tigers could wobble backwards and forwards when the fish were in the swim feeding, I think they could have easily put the fish off. I've seen it happen on the underwater filming, and something as minute as that can be the difference between getting a pickup and not. The other thing that's happened during the session is I've had what I thought was a liner, but was almost certainly an aborted take on the banker rod about 1 o'clock in the morning. The fish were showing over the area then as well. And I left the rod out all morning. Fish continued to show all over it. It was drizzling with rain. There were loads of fish out there and nothing happened. And I wound in a super blunt hook, and I think what happened was, picked the rig up, the sharpened hook basically went into a bit of bone. The fish threw the hook, used the weight of the lead to throw the hook, which again I've seen them do on the underwater films, and they're famous for doing it on this lake. That rig sat out there. It probably reset itself because of the buoyancy of the hook bait, but it sat out there amongst all those fish and didn't go. And I reckon if it did get picked up, it might have been in half a dozen mouths and just wasn't sharp enough to hook them. So what I've basically done to change that situation is I've turned the lead clips into running rigs. So I've basically stopped the lead clips dumping the lead. I started off like that because there is some weed around and I was worried about it getting snarled up in the weed. But the fish that I lost basically went into the weed, the lead had come off and I still lost it. So I went over to a running lead clip, and that changed my fortunes, and I had a really nice 28 pounder, really nice proportion fish, and it was an absolute belter of a run. It still weeded me up because I'm fishing close to a weed bed, but I got it in. So for the end of the session, I've got running lead clips on all rods. I had a small tench this morning on a rod that I hadn't caught any fish on before and had funny occurrences on a semi-fixed rig. So definitely running lead clips has made a major difference, and I wish I'd started with them. My highlights of the week, Tom catching one on the first day after coming out really late in the draw, and really seeing anybody catch them. Seeing Cole today catch the 45 pounder, the koi common, that was just awesome. You know, he's toughed it out all week, his head's not gone, he's not changed his approach, he's tinkered a little bit, but he knows what works, and finally it's paid off for him. So that was absolutely brilliant. Being on this trip, you see people that you don't fish with. You're in work with them all the time. People like Rob Willingham, Bailey, you know, really, really good anglers. They definitely bring a great point of view to the whole thing, and you learn off them because you don't normally get to fish with them. So, you know, that's brilliant. And just seeing everybody having a laugh together, for me, is you know, is a wonderful feeling. So yeah, fishing with people I don't normally fish with, being up at the lodge, having dinner with everybody. The meat pie on the first day was one of the highlights, definitely. Food's been awesome as always. It's just been a great trip.
1, 2, 3. Love you, Raisin. Love you.
You've been tuned into TFTV. Tackle Fanatics stock a huge range of tackle and bait at the best prices in the UK. To view an extensive range, log on to www.tacklefanatics.co.uk. Remember, you can apply online for finance to make your tackle purchase more affordable. Tight lines from everybody at TFTV.